What happened when you broke the rules for a stranger? The coolest thing my school made was a vent line, like a hotline for students to rant about anything anonymously. I volunteered during senior year, and most of the time I spoke to freshmen who cried about their first failed exams, but this call was different. His voice caught me completely off guard. It was deep and confident, but tired. "Hey, so how does this work?" he asked nervously. "Just tell me what's on your mind," I told him. Then he proceeded to humbly brag about his popularity. "I'm just tired of all these girls chasing after me," he sighed. Now, I should have given him the usual speech about finding authentic connections, but something in his tone bothered me. "Have you tried saying no?" I asked in a tone that came out sassier than I meant to. He went quiet before bursting into laughter. "Thanks for your honesty. Same time tomorrow?" he asked. I was supposed to say no. The whole point of the vent line was one-time anonymous support, but there was something about him that made me want to hear from him again. So I broke the rule and said yes. The next call with him was completely different. He talked about more serious things that bothered him, like pressure from his dad to get a football scholarship, or how his friends only really cared about parties. "It feels like I'm always performing around them," he said softly. "I know what you mean. It's hard opening up when you're scared of disappointing the people you care about," I said, thinking about how my own parents were pushing me to go into med school instead of mathematics. "I'm curious, what do you actually want to be?" I asked. He sounded surprised on the other line. "I didn't think you were allowed to ask me questions." I laughed and said jokingly, "Please don't report me." "I would never. I don't think I could stand a day without ranting to you." I smiled. Each day we'd share stories, jokes, funny things we saw that day. Some days, it felt like I was the one venting to him instead. It took only 4 calls for me to figure out I was opening up to the hottest guy in school, Dylan, the same guy who dated half the cheerleading squad, who really did have that effortless popularity. For 2 years, I sat behind him in calculus, treating him like he belonged to another world where people were naturally beautiful and perfect at everything. I had hoped it wasn't him. We were too different. Even my best friend warned me, "When he finds out you're you, it's over. Guys like that don't notice girls like us." She was right, and I knew it, but I could not stop answering when he called. Every time he said, "I wish I could meet you," my heart broke a little more because I knew this had to end soon. But before I could, Dylan confessed, "You know, I felt alone in this school before I met you, and I wanted to tell you that the way you talk makes me smile, and your laugh, it's like the best sound in the world. I know you're scared of meeting me, and I promise I'll wait until you're ready. But I had to let you know that I like you, and I hope you like me too." I fought back tears, just listening to the kindest thing anyone had ever said to me. I almost told him who I was right then. Almost. I spent all day thinking about his confession, imagining how he'd react when I told him my name. Would he be angry? Would he be upset that it's some nerdy nobody in school? But I knew deep down he wouldn't. I had to risk it. But I didn't get the chance to call him again, because the next morning his confession played during morning announcements. The entire school heard him talking about feeling lonely and falling for some mystery girl, but the clips were edited to make him sound pathetic and desperate. I watched people in class laugh at him, and suddenly the untouchable Dylan became a joke. I felt awful. He found me after school at the vent line station, bursting through the doors with a hurt expression. "It was you?" His face went pale. "You recorded me?" "No, I swear I would never do that," I cried out. "I trusted you with everything." His voice cracked. "You're just like everyone else. Probably did it so people would finally notice you, right? Thanks." He ran off, slamming the door just as I broke down. There was one thing I didn't get. The vent lines were supposed to be secure. I kept thinking about who had access to that hallway and cornered Roy in the computer lab. "You set up the recording, didn't you?" He apologized immediately, showing me his email exchange with Dylan's ex-girlfriend. "She threatened me," Roy said, shaking. "I didn't think she'd do something so messed up. I swear. Make it right," I told him. He nodded and followed me to the cafeteria, walking straight to the ex-girlfriend with the evidence. "Oh, you, loser alert," she laughed, looking at me with a smug expression. "I don't care what you call me. You hurt Dylan, all because he hurt your ego." Roy played out the real confession, the beautiful, uncut version. Students crowded around to look at the evidence and instantly cornered her, calling out her lies and evil plan. Dylan walked over just as the crowd dispersed. Full story on channel linked below.